Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Gertruida's Adventures podcast and I'm your host Gertruida. So it is time for one of my most favorite videos to make in a year and also one of my most popular types of videos in a year for 2 years running now. The journaling one. Before I get to it though, I do want to just quickly cover a topic that I need to cover so that I can give away the piece so it can get frogged and reused into something else. And yes, so drop shoulder jerseys and why I dislike them. Apologies in advance if there's maybe a bit of scratching on the mic. I should have maybe put this on before I started. So this is the Jethro and it very nicely shows why I dislike drop shoulders. Just trying to keep it away from the mic there. Okay, cool. So here it is on. It isn't sewed closed, but I put clips where you would have the underarm sitting. And as you can see, it's a nice drop shoulder. So this one is meant to get ribbing on the side and around, with which should be knitted, and then the rest is crocheted. But here you can see what I dislike about a drop shoulder, like all of this extra fabric. And even if I were to just quickly move the shoulder down where the arm split is, it still happens, because guess what, there's a lot of fabric that like goes into a T-shape kind of thing in order to have the drop shoulder do its job, and that fabric doesn't leave when you drop your arm. So yeah, I don't like it. I think part of it is that I have big fronts. So then like the way that they pull is exaggerated. I think part of it is this type of fabric. It's quite thick, but either way, I am DNFing this project. Cool. I have been wanting to tell you guys about this and show you guys this for like 2 weeks. Here I am. I did it. Cool. Just taking this off. Okie dokie. So now, the reason for this video, and I'm super excited about it. Let's quickly have a look at my old journal. So this is the journal that I used in 2025 and 2024. So it has quite a lot of history. It still has a lot of space left. I'm actually lucky that I don't stick in too many things. So I'm not like, getting thick with my journal. It's still quite compact. But what I do enjoy is the fact that my journaling style have changed, and I can actually show you guys this. So in 2024, I had like the year at a glance, which I rarely actually glanced at, despite it being the first page. I had goals, which again, as you can tell, rarely looked at. I looked at it like at the end of the year, and I think 6 months in, I changed a few things, and that was it. Then the project at a glance, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it because of the fact that I left so much space, because there was space for me to like continue. I'll cover my 2025 projects at a glance in a moment. Then I had a book log, didn't use, retired it for 2026. And then my style for 2024 was monthly. So I would have the month, then a few stats for the month. So like what yarns I bought, what projects I work on, whether I finish something, and then like micro journaling, one can say, for every week, which I really enjoyed. I did enjoy this, and I kept it for 2025, but just in a slightly different way. So it's like that for every month. I stopped doing that way around August. I feel like August is the month where journaling starts getting heavy, and I need to lean into it or lean out of it. Because for 2026, I didn't do anything until the start of 2026 again. Then there's a few project pages, not too many. And then we get to 2025. So 2025, what I did was 25 and 25, and I feel like I've said the number 25 a million times now. This was my bingo board. Really enjoyed it, really loved it, will be keeping it. Then this is my project at a glance page. Now, as you can tell, I've run out of space. Like, there isn't a single open line. I've started putting in later projects somewhere in the middle where I left a little bit of space as a divide between older projects and newer projects, and it's just a mess. So that needs a fixing. And then what I also changed for 2026 is that I started tracking time in quarters. So I'm a software engineer. So the way that we work is in what they call PIs. The PIs works a little bit disconnected from how you would work in a quarter if your year is from January to December, because most companies have financial years that they work on. So they start end of February, beginning of March, and then run for the year. So your PIs at work tend to run from March up. For my crafting stuff, I created PIs, which is 13-week blocks, which works out quite nicely because you have 3 4-week blocks and then 1 sort of reset week. So if you wanted to do planning or anything like that, you could, with like set time frames. And then it also fits in very nicely because if you do your planning on a 2-week or a 4-week scale, you don't have these weird buffer days that if you go from the first to the first. And I know that there is some people that do have monthly cadence of thinking about time, but because of the way that we work at work in these sprints, which is 2-week blocks broken into PIs, this way of seeing time comes a lot more naturally to me. So I've leaned into it quite hard. So with chapter 1 is what I called it last year. It ran from 30th December to 30th of March. It ends up being 13 weeks. So the way that I did it was I had like a cover page that would, for that 13 weeks, it would be tracking the WIPs that I work on, the projects that I finish, which don't tend to be much, which is what I learned in 2024. And then I also tracked whether I buy or use yarn. This, however, started getting hard because I would only record the yarns that I bought or used at the end of the week when I do my micro journaling, which is like a weekly write-up of what happened the week. So then I would have half a page for every week to write down what happened, because in 2024, I felt like it was a bit too small, right? So you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks, and then 1 whole page for the reset week, where I would write down a little bit of stats, like what was the total amount of yarns that I used, what was my favorite project, what is the objects that I finished, all those kind of things. Then the new chapter would start, right? And then you just repeat. So in 2025, what happened was in August, surprise, August, my worst month, I had bronchitis. So there is a 2-week space where there's nothing written because I felt terrible. I did nothing except lie in bed and got healthy. So I just made a picture of a lung and filled half with flower stickers because I'm not super artistic. And so it goes. Then I did drop off when it became December time again. So the last 3 weeks of 2025 is empathy. But I also did notice that for chapter 4, my tracking of yarn went completely wonky. I don't know whether it is because after the bronchitis situation, trying to get back into crafting, my mind was not feeling how it usually does, or whether my focus shifted because end of October I changed teams at work, which meant that my energy in terms of my brain power went a little bit different than what it usually does. So yeah, it was a wild time. I feel like I speedrun 2025 and 2024, but it is for good reasons, so that you guys can see the history. So that's it. I am now, I think, retiring, I could say, this journal. I'm not going to throw it away or anything like that, obviously. It does still have a lot of pages left, from about here. All of that it has left. So about half, a little bit less than half. There's still a lot of space in this journal. I do like the size of it, but it makes it hard to carry around with you, which means that your journaling practice can only be something that you do at a dedicated space, which ends up being weekly, which ends up being at my desk on a Monday morning. So yeah, loved it, want to change it. Which brings us to 2026. So you guys know that I went down the rabbit hole for my birthday around traveler's journals. So I got this pink one. Again, loved it. It's amazing. It's great. I really enjoy the format. I enjoy the fact that there's multiple books. I enjoy the fact that you have fronts and backs of spaces. You have a lot of freedom in this. And I used it October, November, December, which is possibly also why my tracking in my more static journal went a bit wonky, because my thinking about journaling started changing, where I had this book that I carried with me almost everywhere because it just kind of lives in my handbag. So if my handbag goes with me, this goes with me, which is a lot of the time, unless I have a specific project bag. But then I also stick this into this project bag sometimes. But I learned something really important while I was preparing for the journaling workshop, because I started thinking about, how do I actually want to journal in 2026? What do I want to track? How do I want to track it? What is my life looking like now? What is different from 2025? So I realized that a big difference is the fact that I'm being more active. I'm doing exercise. I'm tracking my health metrics a little bit closer, which I really like to track. I would like to write that down. And that is something that does happen on a daily basis, more than a weekly look back, remember everything kind of perspective. You do need to track your food every day, because you're not going to remember on Monday morning what you ate last Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I can barely remember 2 days back, never mind 3 or plus. So yeah, which led me to look at things. So Tanya mentioned that she got a Traveler's Company journal, which is also a Traveler's journal. This is just a Traveler's journal shaped journal. It's a no-name brand Bippy. But I then looked at what is available from the Traveler's Company, because she very kindly linked the Sticker Company, which is the only importer of Traveler's Company journals in South Africa, and their various bits and bobs and adjacent pieces and inserts and things like that. And I learned something really important. This size is not a standard Traveler's journal size. And I'm really glad that I learned this before I just bought new inserts or something like that for it, because that would have been a little bit wasted money if I just assumed I can continue using this cover, because I have now since bought a proper Traveler's journal size, and look at that difference. It's that much higher. It's a little bit wider. You can see it a little bit easier if I use one of the standard size Traveler's journals booklets. So yeah, the width would have fit in here probably, but the height most definitely not, right? And if you actually take the booklets out inside of here, you'll see that they're also a little bit thinner, slightly. Just holding them up here. There you go. So you can see it's like half a centimeter or so, that these booklets in the pink one is thinner than the normal traveler journal size. So I made the executive decision to get a proper size traveler's journal. I went down a rabbit hole of research because I have now used this one for 3 months and I know that I like using it. It's a great size. It is easy to carry. It's easy to keep with you. But this is pleather, and the more you use it, the worse it's going to look. And with this one, it's still kind of okay. It's still holding up. But like you can feel the difference in the little connector bitty. Like it's starting to get soft and weird and floppy, and yeah, it's a thing. So I was quite concerned about the longevity of it if I were to try to find the right size inserts, which Bubblegum Fringe doesn't carry. They only carry these journals. You can buy new ones of these journals, but I don't want to buy an entire new journal with a cover. I want to be able to reuse the cover. So it makes sense to buy the right size. However, the Traveler's Company journal has their band connected in the back in the middle. And I know myself, it's going to annoy me. So then I had to go find something else. So I found the Wanderings journal. So this one's from Amazon. It has a little compass embossing thingy in here. But other than that, it's not branded. The other difference that this do have from the Traveler's Journal is that the inside of this leather is sort of that textured, printed type. It's not it's hard to describe. It's not like a natural feeling leather on the inside, which I'm not upset about because the outside do feel nice. It's nice and sturdy. It's nice and big, and it's the right size. So I went ahead and I got the Traveler's Company weekly insert and then a dot grid inserts for it as well, because it came with blank ones and we need some guidance. We can't be just out here raw dogging with blank pages. No. So what I did to customize it is that I took the ribbon from the Advent box from Black Cat, the one with the beautiful gold embossing. And the Wanderings journal has like a bead kind of thing here that has a hole. So I threaded it through there together with two little strings. It is cotton strings. I used 2 cat beads that Janine has sent me quite a while ago that I've been struggling to think about what I can do. Stuck those onto the ends. So now I have 3 bookmarks inside of my Traveler's Journal that I've customized myself. And I'm quite chuffed about that. I like it. So now, how am I going to do my 2026 journaling? Let me show you. First, what I'm doing, I have the weekly journal predominantly to be able to track daily things. So on the one side, I'm writing down what do I fill my spare time with. That's typically projects or games or whatever, doesn't matter. Or what I did other than work, just to have a little bit of a memory, a running trail of how I spent my time. Then on this side, with all of that writing, I'm writing down what exercise I did, how long I did it for, my max heart rate, my average heart rate, and then I've got a tiny little food log on the side here. I'm not logging absolutely everything. I'm mostly just logging my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just so that I have like a guideline of what I ate, so that if nothing changes or if I get stuck with my body, that I can have something to look at and have some stats. So that's that. This I'm doing on a weekly basis. This layout is quite nice. So let me just go to a blank one here. So you have a week layout that's undated. Just trying to hide my face and point so that the camera focuses nicely. So you've got the weekly layout. On the one side, you've got the day, and then sort of a blankish space that you can divide if you want to. And then the other side, you've got square grid kind of thing that you can also, again, divide as you want to. So I'm drawing my lines from just freehand. I'm not even using a ruler. And I'm still thinking about what I want to do with the other half, because you saw that there was like a blank half that's empty. I was originally thinking to write in there like if I use yarn, how much I'm using, but then I realized I am not going to measure my yarn at the beginning and end of every night. It's not going to happen. I'm not that level of admin. We're not going to do it. So I'm still thinking about it. I haven't yet landed on something, but when it do land, I can just adjust. Then I do also have 2 other dot grid journals that I've stuck in here. The first one I've labeled as track. So this one will be where I do all of my like logging, summarizing, tracking of projects, all those kind of things. So what I've done, first page is my bingo page. It looks quite busy, but it's really easy to read it when you're actually looking at it, not on a camera that's constantly moving. So it's got this free block, and then I've stuck in little ephemera that I got from Jua. Then very smartly, I'm really proud of myself. This is really smart. On this side, I stuck a sticker sheet with 24 dots so that as I ding the bingos, I can just take the dot, put it in there, rather than trying to find the same pen than what I've been marking with in the beginning, which you saw in my other 2025 bingo. That started happening. I somehow misplaced the highlighter that I was using. I then started using a pen, and I found a highlighter again, but now I started using the pen, so I didn't want to go back to the highlighter, and we had an issue. Issue solved. So this also leads to me to my saying for 2026, which is, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Nothing. This is a way of me giving myself the license, opportunity, right, to be doing funny, weird things this year. So I want to do a lot of experimentation. I want to experience a lot of different things, and I don't want to be scared while doing it. So I've realized that if I ask myself the question, what are they going to do? I realize that the only person who can say anything about what I'm doing is myself, and I want to do it. So I'm just going to do it. It's so simple, but still so difficult to land. Then in my second pages, this one I stole from a other YouTuber whose name I promptly forgot. I will put her name in the comments below. So this is a then and again page. So I've got my stats from 2025 that I've written down here. It's how many projects I've finished, surprisingly little, and then also like current favorite, current things that I'm nervous about, current things that I'm seeing as a problem might happen, and things like that. And then a little bit of a blurb over what my year was like, so that in the end of 2026, I can come back and I can fill out this half of the page where I can write how many projects I finished, what is my current favorite of things, what is my current problem, and reflect also, I thought this was a problem, what's going to happen, which once again leans into the what are they going to do kind of vibe thing, to train myself to not be so caught up in worrying. So, yeah, just to talk through my finishes, I finished all of 10 things, of which half were shawls. Five of them were shawls. Then I did 2 pullovers, 1 cowl, and 2 project bags. Not mentioned in these metrics because I didn't have space in my project page, which is so dumb, is Janine's project bag. So technically I finished 11 things, but I only realized that when I finished writing everything, I was like, ugh. So I just put a little note, because what are they going to do? Nothing. Then I have a stats page. At the moment, very empty. It just has a graph where I want to track how many skeins of yarn did I wind buy or give away in each month. So that will be really fun to see, and I think it would be a really nice visual reminder to myself to use more than what I buy. Then, continuing the theme of the quarters, I have set up quarter one already. I'm doing it in a very minimalistic micro way because of the fact that I'm tracking things in a whole different way now. So I'm writing down which projects I'm working on, and then I have a memory moments section here where it's literally just 2 lines for the week where I can write down what important things happened in that week. Then quarter two, I still have to finish, but you guys can squiz the design. It's really nice. Quarter three, I'm also really chuffed about, but still have to finish it. Quarter four, I still have to do because I need to get some gold ink, because the gold stuff that I have to work with now doesn't quite come through as deeply and darkly. So you guys will have noticed that I'm doing a lot more in terms of the background, the designs, the things that I'm doing. Really enjoy doing it, really love looking at it, and I hope that this would motivate me to continuously micro journal a lot more, because I want to do these types of techniques even on my pages where I track my projects, which will be in the second part, not yet set up, which is the scratch journal. So this is where I will be writing down what I do for each project. So this is a page that I just literally scavenged from my pink journal, stuck it in there, continued writing, and then I also started the review cardigan. I'll talk about it next week because this video is already jam-packed and I'm not even done yet. So yeah, I want to do a lot more designing, a lot more of the nonsense that I did in the beginning, a lot more fun. Now, how do I track my things? So a few videos ago, I think it was the first one for the year, I showed you guys my yarn log. So I rewrote it because I found a critical flaw already. If I wrote a line saying that I have 6 skeins, I'm not going to wind all 6 skeins all at once. So I can't write just one date. I have to write a date for each skein. So I redid my yarn log in my new journal. And this time around, what I did was I made a little blocky for how many skeins you have. So if you have 3, it'll go 1, 2, 3, keep a line open, and then you have your next one coming through. So yeah, I have also divided the dyers a little bit better. And then I have a purchases log. So I did buy Black Cat yarn because, you know, I don't know, it just fell into my hands. What are they going to do? Nothing. Anyway, I'll show you guys those next week because I'm not going to start using them until the make along that's coming in March, which I'm super excited for. More details about that next week so that you guys can get excited about the whole thing as well. Cool. So the last bitty that I do want to talk about is my new knowledge. So you guys have seen all of my pretty designs and like backgrounds and depth and all that kind of nonsense. So I just want to quickly cover the tools that I use to achieve that so that you guys can also join me if you so like. So the first thing that is super useful and super helpful is ink pads. So I found these two at a P&A. They are okay. This one's a bit dry, which makes me sad. This one's not so dry. This one was in a blister pack, and this one was wrapped in plastic. So I would say if you are to buy ink pads, have a look that it's actually wrapped properly in plastic, because I think it affects how much ink is left. So yeah, I do know you can buy like a ink solution thing to revive them and things like that. I'll look into that later. This was very much hodgepodge, whatever I can get my hands on yesterday afternoon. I also got this ink pad. This one is called Archival Pigment Ink Pad Brilliance. And listen, it is brilliant. I love this ink pad. So if you can get this type rather than the other type. 10 out of 10. This was also at P&A. So typically you would use ink pads with stamps, obviously. However, not for Gertruida anymore. She does not want stamps. I want other things. So I also got these. You can just use normal makeup sponges. These are makeup sponges. I bought them because they're pink and purple and they were at P&A and we had little time. Which is nice because now I have a pink one for the pink ink and a purple one for the purple ink, and they don't touch each other, which is great. And they have this nice boxy that I can store them in so that they don't touch other things with the ink that's still on the makeup sponge, because it will stay there. Like, even if you try to push it out, it will still stay there. It would discolor things if it has enough attention. But what you do, you take this, you dab it on your ink pad, you dab it elsewhere. So you can do this type of effect, like this pink corner, by literally just rubbing the ink on the page, patting it. If you do rub it, just be mindful if you rub inward from the page because you're going to fold it, obviously, physics. But if you want more color on the outside, you are going to want to rub it. Do not do it. Dab, 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 dab. Okay, then you also have this amazing thing, stencils. Same technique, same idea. You take the ink pad, you take the makeup sponge, you dab it through the stencil. So then you get this type of effect. There we go. Like this pink corner. So you can fade it out as well if you want. You can make it more bright on the edge. You can layer it even. So on my bingo page, I use stencils and then I layered both pink and purple ink. So it looks really nice. It's fun. It's good exercise for your brain to like experience new things. The other thing that is absolutely magical and amazing is a thing called silky pens. So the actual pen looks like this. The inside looks like, you know, those turn out wax crayons that you used to use as a kid? Looks like that, works completely different. So these ones you can get like a whole pack of them, like for 12 pens for 99 Rand at P&A. Amazing. They have metallic, pastel, and bright. So I bought the metallic because I wanted the gold one, which works terrible. Well, not terrible, shall I say. It's just lighter than what I would like it. It's not terrible. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's just not how I like it. But anyway, it's water reactive. So you take this pen, you take a little piece of plastic that was wrapping something, like anything, like plastic that's wrapping things like this. You take it off, you draw on that, you put a little drop of water, and then you can take a brush to like rub the water around to pick up the ink pigment, and then dab it through your stencil. You can paint with it, like with watercolors. You can take that piece of plastic and then just rub your finger on it to like make it all smushy and mushy, and then just take the plastic and push it against your page, which is exactly what I did here. So when you do this technique, there is a bit more water involved than otherwise. So what tends to happen is that the page gets a bit crinkly. So what I just did was I took my iron on a low heat and I put a printer page at the back and a printer page at the front, and I ironed it and it got flat. It's amazing. Then you can also use the silky pens with a bit more water. So you like dip your brush in water rather than like dabbing water onto the plastic, and then pick up pigment and then you splash it like with dots, and then you can do this type of thing. Just make sure that before you close the book, it's dry, because otherwise you're going to get mirrored businesses happening. I'm not mad about it, but it did happen, and I'm warning you so it doesn't happen to you. Cool. Last amazing tip that I want to give y'all is an incredible pen that I found. It is the Pilot Super Color Gold pen. It looks like this. This is insane. If you like gold, this is your new best friend. Because golly gosh, I used it here. I used it here. And you can see the flashing. It's like premium. Love it. I wish that I had this pen in like an ink pad version so I can take my makeup brush and do the dabbing thing. I did try to put this on a piece of plastic and then do the dabbing thing, but I think that this isn't water reactive, so it doesn't do the dabbing thing very well. It does have a little bally thing in it as well, so it makes noise. It's fun. This is the silky pen that's gold. So the way that this one behaves, you can see it, is the gold stars there in the corner, and then that side's a bit darker. So it's there, but I want a little bit more, I think. But yeah, so I'm going to be looking for a gold pad next weekend. And yes, that's my journal and my new skills. And as you can tell, I am extremely excited. So thank you very, 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 very much to Monique and to Anita for showing me all these fun things, and especially to Monique for showing me the magic about stamps and makeup sponges and brushes and things. Oh, whole new world, and I'm here for it. I love it. It's amazing. So I'm really excited to see how my journaling is going to go during 2026. I'll probably catch up with you guys about it every quarter or so, tell you how it's going, show you some stats, and yeah, just chinwag a bit. But yeah, I have not knitted this entire weekend because I've just been journaling this entire weekend. So I am now going to go and knit. I have a mighty need to work on my birthday suit some more because the second sleeve is like 3 decreases away from being done. So it's like somewhere here. And I'm very excited for it, guys. So excited. But yeah, cool. Okay, before I get too excited, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was really fun hanging out and catching up and showing you guys my journal. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing it and that you think it's as pretty as what I think it is. If you don't tell me. Cool. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.